1. Now, keep in mind, whoever wins this set, they get the invite to IPL 5. They get 1,000 cool bucks, the coolest of dollars, and then they also get to come back for our seeding round. And whoever gets first place out of that will also get their trip comped. But you gotta go through the set first, and here are the bands coming on in: Vlad, Urgot, Morgana, Shen. Pretty standard stuff so far.
Yeah, definitely some standard stuff, but no Akali banned yet. And I'm just kidding. I mean, there's very little chance of people banning Akali, but we'll see. I mean, it does work, and I don't know. It was just a moment of excitement for me. So definitely some standard bans: Vladimir, Urgot, Soraka, Morgana, Shen, and Alistar. We'll see who they pick up. Janna would definitely be a nice pick right now, or Nocturne. You know, seeing as how he's not banned. Nautilus as well. Nautilus isn't banned this game, so
no, he's not.
We'll have to see. There's really a lot of options for them. Saint, you know, he can play any of those champions, just a really versatile jungler. So they might go ahead with the Janna. I mean, Janna would definitely make sense. You know, it gives them a nice bottom lane and then allows Saint Vicious to kind of roam around and have that movement speed passive and just generally be the boss that he is.
So I'm also, I mean, I'm thinking just, you know, kind of what game plan Curse may also be looking to play as well. Like, we've seen, you know, very...
Nocturne,
there you go. Nocturne. Nocturne, absolutely. He's, you know, definitely one of the top junglers right now. Pretty damn speedy in the jungle to boot. And, you know, Saint Vicious, gonna be putting him to work.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be a lot of fun. And guys, while you're checking this out, you know, get all your friends and family on here, brothers and sisters, grandparents, relatives, or not. But yeah, definitely get some friends on here to check out the stream. But then also IPL Live View. We'll throw a link up in the chat. Colin Zhu sitting in the background. He'll be able to help you out there. But IPL Live View, we actually have cameramen on their way at this moment live at the Curse office. And Curse is actually playing at their offices, so we'll have cameras on them, and you'll get to see them, you know, yelling at each other and jumping for joy and celebration. And Karthus and Nautilus is the next pickup. So TSM Evo, definitely two really strong champions overall. And they have a lot of flexibility, so we'll see where they go from there. Soraka is banned, so that's kind of unfortunate. They could see a Janna here, though. Kog'Maw would be interesting. So Kog'Maw, it's going to be an AP Cog, almost certainly. Salsei definitely known for that AP Cog, and AP Cog works very well against Karthus. He's one of those kind of counters to Karthus, because not only are you going to be free farming in lane, but then once you get out of the lane, you have that long-range poke. You can just decimate Karthus before the fight even starts.
Yeah, because in Karthus, that pick is just, you know, very indicative of a very, you know, passive lane. Is what Karthus does. He just kind of sits there, farm. Is it mid game yet? Is it late game yet? Let's start, you know, wrecking everybody's stuff. So, you know, with the long poke, but, you know, there's also the Janna there as well for the bot lane. So, for the moment, oh, actually, no, never mind. Gonna go for the Graves. Okay, so yeah, AP Cog in mid, Graves bot lane.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, they have just a generally strong comp right now, but they have a lot of flexibility. I thought they would go with the Janna, but the nice thing about going with the Graves first is you can transition it into a Janna if you like, and that would pair out very well. Or if you want, you can go with a more aggressive support. If you wanted to go with like a Taric, Alistar, or Leona. Alistar is actually banned, but because it's a Leona for TSM Evo, they'll almost certainly go back to that Janna. So Janna, along with Graves, that gives them that support so they can be safe there. They could consider going with a Taric, but Janna is just a little bit safer. So we'll see how it goes. But Leona Ezreal is definitely a really interesting lane. It has a lot of aggressive harass and a lot of burst damage, so that's something you have to watch out for.
And fancy skins.
And fancy skins.
And fancy skins. So, you know, I'm pretty sure we all know what Ezreal is going to be on, you know, because, you know, best Ezreal skin in the world, Striker Ezreal. So, got to be using that today. But still got the support and the top lane to still be picked here for Curse. You know, Element's going to be go on that Taric. So, Taric stun with the Kog'Maw could deal quite a bit of damage, but also you also have the Shatter there. Yeah. Nice armor buff, or debuff, however you may want to use it.
Taric's nice, but I'm a little bit surprised they're not going with the Janna pick here. So, I mean, both are very strong. It's really between Taric and Janna. Those would be the two choices right now. And the Taric with the Graves, that upfront burst damage is really strong. And Leona, because she doesn't have a lot of escapes, you could grab her, or you could just grab Ezreal. And so what happens is if Taric gets a stun onto Ezreal, you get the Shatter, you get the quick burst, and Ezreal's just forced to retreat. And now all of a sudden he can't exchange harass damage because he's basically already dead.
Well,
so,
you get the Taric stun, you get the Shatter, you get the Nocturne ult.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And
too.
they kind of change everything together.
Oh, that is the nice thing about Taric instead of Janna, is that it combos with the Nocturne.
So then there we go. Now Malphite in the top lane. TSM Evo's got to figure, you know, okay, who can we put a top lane Against the Malphite, take away the shield. Olaf, fantastic, fantastic choice. Just reckless swing, just one, and the shield is gone. I feel like I'm in an infomercial or something. You know, just one swipe, and go ahead and clean Malphite shields with the greatest of ease. What are yours today for
Bam,
5
Olaf
easy
is made by
payments?
the Gemins. You know it's got to be good.
Damn it. Damn it. You stole the line.
Oh.
You stole my line. I'm never going to be a salesman again.
It was a slow build-up. I didn't know where we were going.
I'm never going to be a salesman again. Damn it.
That's all right. we still appreciate you.
I hope so. I hope so.
But it will be a fun matchup. I mean, Malphite's just an all-around beast champion, and I'm curious whether or not we'll see Malphite, nerfed at all coming up. He's just such a strong overall champion. It doesn't really need to, have a good game in order to be effective. You just kind of are there and you win. So we'll see how that works. But Olaf is actually a really strong match against Malphite, and we've seen that in the past. It does work as like a counter. So, that'll be a lot of fun. Having that range, because Malphite, you have to wear down his shield, but then keep it down. He's got the undertow, just that range harass constantly, and then also beats him out in the mana game. So the nice damage, and then also, if Malphite wants to get armor early on to negate some of that damage against Olaf, which is, what's nice about him, that he can itemize armor against physical bruisers. Well, Olaf still has the true damage, and that's just going to hit so aggressively. So, we'll have to see. And the ultimate as well, Ragnarok, just to be able to run through all of their disables and just dive straight at Kog'Maw. It was just an all-around strong pick.
And now I got to note this on Nijaki right here, going for the teleport flash. So wherever there is a gank, wherever you need the little bug to be, Nocturne to place that nice little darkness cover, teleport to a ward or a friendly minion, and Nijaki will be there in an instant to help. So, good number of ignites and exhausts on both sides as well. So, Unstoppable on Nautilus, he's fantastic ganker. Wonderful ganker, fantastic CC all around. St. Vicious, though, on Nocturne, going to be a little bit faster in the jungle, but I don't know. We may, based on positioning, could very well see a level 2 gank from either jungler, actually.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. We'll have to see. I think St. Vicious out of either of them is probably going to be the more defensive. And the nice thing about Nocturne versus Nautilus is a little bit more aggressive with ganks, but Nocturne has the jungling speed where he's going to maybe try and counter jungle him a little bit, or be positioned. A lot of it's going to come down to how effectively St. Vicious can, kind of have his spacing. And earlier today, we saw M5 versus Mega Shock, and every single time, Diamond Prox, he was always in the right position on the map. He was always able to counter out goats, just be in the right spot at the right time, and that's kind of your role as a jungler, like Nocturne. Yep. You just want to be in the right spot at the right time. So when Nautilus goes in for a gank, boom, you follow up on it, and now Nautilus is trapped. He's out of position. Or you just steal his jungle. So we'll see. For the most part, he's going to want to level up to 6. But, both of them are going to be aggressive. I think he'll probably focus on top lane because it wouldn't be surprising to see Nautilus go up there quick and try and give Olaf an early advantage.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be really too much jungle action going on in, mid really much at all, because Karthus, there's no real hard CC on Nijaki, so it's not really going to be keeping Karthus very still. And Nijaki, once 6 comes around, he's going to be farming, at a pretty decent range, so should be able to go ahead and get away from the wall pain and all things like that. With the occasional ult, Nautilus may actually be able to get something happening down on the cog. Well, the damage may be sufficient, but St. Vicious, I think for a sure thing, is not really going to be focusing too much on mid.
The first couple of levels, yeah, that's absolutely true. Both mids will be very safe. They have long range farming, but once the junglers both hit 6. That's when it's like doomsday in the mid lane. It just all of a sudden becomes no man's land because Nautilus versus Cog, that's actually a favorable matchup for Nautilus. It's a common jungler to pick against an AP Cog because you do have the ultimate, like you said, and the ultimate into the pool, so you have enough damage there. But then also you have to consider that Malphite top, one of the strengths of Malphite top is that you can roam down into the mid lane and combo with your ganker for a quick kill. So it wouldn't be very surprising because Karthus is so vulnerable to ganks. It wouldn't be surprising to see Malphite come down once he's 6, once Nocturne 6, quick alt, boom, bam, boom, take him down, no big deal. So that's definitely something they're going to watch out for. Early on, though, most of the pressure it'll probably just be kind of a farm race, and then we'll see if there's actually any pressure bottom because both lanes bottom are kill lanes. So it's a kill lane versus a kill lane, and there you have it. The Pulsefire Ezreal.
So
and
sexy.
Aphromoo, the king of the Ezreals, other than Double Lift, of course. I guess he had the 18-2 at MLG.
So disappointed. No striker Ezreal. Come on, that's the best. Well, no,
That would have been the best actually if he had been like, oh, we're sitting here, we have an Ezreal and it's Pulsefire Ezreal just released, and then he comes out with like the regular bland skin.
That would be, I would laugh. I was actually kind of expecting that, just to be honest for a little bit. But hey, here we are, game number 1, IPL 5 NA qualifier number 2. Like I was mentioning before, whoever wins here, whoever wins this set, gonna be going to IPL 5. And you know, both teams were actually at IPL 4. So I mean, this is kind of like, you know, oh man, we want to go back there, we want to go play again. But alas, only one can in this qualifier. Granted, there are still 2 more qualifiers to go, but you know, it's you might as well go ahead and take care of your business early. Right now, Evo is actually getting pretty well set up here in the side bush here, from coming in from the mid down in bot river. But Curse, they've got all the vision they need. There's a stun onto Aphromoo straight on away. They're jealous of that skin. They want to take that thing out. There's the Q coming from St. Vicious, but right now the focus going down on Westrice. Wings of Death taking the front. Natnuin trying to get as much damage as possible to Elements, is exhausted and caught out. Flash over the wall, very well timed, but the first blood going to Wings of Death. Gonna go ahead and get the kill on St. Vicious, and Cops caught behind, but they are aiming for Westrice. They want to go ahead. He's very, very low. Turret shot going down. But wow, look at that invade. A bit of a...
Curse is
wow.
honestly lucky that they didn't lose more. And,
yeah.
The big thing is Curse has a pretty strong level 1 for AoE, but there was kind of a miscommunication. Elements went in for the stun, and then I think the rest of Curse was like, oh dear God, what were you thinking? We have to get out of here. Because Ezreal level 1 is one of the strongest champions at picking up kills. Same thing with Olaf. Both of them are very strong at those longer level 1 engages. Because of the short cooldowns on their Qs, most champions early on have very long cooldowns. And so it was honestly really lucky that they didn't lose more guys. With all of them so low, just barely being able to survive. Taric, he lived with like 20 HP or something. I mean,
yeah.
They all could have gone down there, and then the game would have been over. But TSM Evo, it seems, the king of the level 1 fights. You know, every game that I see them in, they have really nice level 1 coordination and seem to get the better of their opponents.
You gotta go. You gotta go aggressive. You gotta go get that kill. That gold on Wings of Death is actually gonna pay quite. You know, it's gonna pay for. It's gonna be doing so much for him. 5 potions, mana potion, boots, ward, fairy charm. He's already, you know, a good quarter away to that feel. Actually, well, yeah, but about a quarter that way to Fuel of Stone already, if he so desires. But
yeah, and Olaf and Ezreal are really the 2 guys who you really don't want to see getting that early kill. And Olaf, any early advantages over Malphite could just be devastating.
And we saw yesterday versus Dignitas what a fed Ezreal can do. And I highly recommend you go back and watch that game, because that was just ridiculous. It was a very ridiculous thing if you don't see it. Now you're getting stunned onto Elements. May not actually be able to make it out, and no. Aphromoo once. Oh my God.
I think Riot is paying Aphromoo right now. Like, this is a free advertisement for them for the PFE skin. They were like, hey, Aphromoo, can you go out and rock a game for us and just, you know, absolutely dominate Curse? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I can do that. But we'll have to see Leona coming around once again, gets the stun underneath the tower, and he's actually going for it. One more Q would have been able to do it, but backing off. So just huge early bursts of damage.
Ridiculous. This is starting to get very ridiculous bot lane, and hopefully, you know, St. Vicious can, you know, help out before it gets too late, before things start to spiral out of control. There is a ward placed over there in the side bush by the Wraith, so Evo's very well aware of what Curse is doing in the jungle, and St. Vicious is just he's more than happy to sit down, farm for a little bit, want to go ahead and try and you got the speed in the jungle. You might as well use it and try and out farm Nautilus.
Fortunately, Graves, he is going to be able to get back in lane just soon enough to not miss out on very much experience or gold. So that's huge. He's still behind, but I mean, he almost could have been 2 levels behind Ezreal if they had been able to push it into the tower a little bit faster. So he is going to be safe to, you know, try and catch up a little bit right here and not necessarily be shut out of the game. But that is a concern with how aggressive Ezreal can be early on in the game. You know, his laning burst is just phenomenal. And so far we're seeing Wings of Death doing a really nice job just wearing down on Westrice. And you know, his health is still high, but he's kind of low on mana. He has to farm from a range with those Qs. And so that will naturally really pull him behind. Right now he's already behind, but as he kind of runs out of mana, that gap could increase for Wings of Death.
So, you know, in the mid, 29-35 is a slight lead for Nijaki. Nothing really to write home about. But remember, in the mid, Kog'Maw, he's got the teleport, can be anywhere he needs to be to help out, assist with any ganks. St. Vicious, I think he's just looking to farm to try and get that fast 6. Just to try and get those ganks in as quickly as possible, just so you can go ahead and try and help out whatever lane. But Unstoppable, being sneaky, hiding up in that top bush, waiting for the moment when Westrice decides to go ahead and get a little bit aggressive. But he's got to get out from under tower first. Unstoppable actually just going to go ahead and move on his own merry way. But St. Vicious now coming in. They spotted each other. St. Vicious with the Q, trying to get that speed buff, but there is the fear going down onto Unstoppable. St. Vicious, I thought he was going to get away from that one, but the hook keeps him still. Has to flash out of there.
Yeah, that undertow would have hit him, and then Olaf would have been able to chase him down. So really nice early advantages for TSM Evo. Great map control so far. They have the ward there covering from the blue, and also the ward mid. And actually Unstoppable coming to check out Nijaki.
Nice
throwing
ward.
The ward over the wall, so we'll be safe there. And until Unstoppable hits 6, Nijaki should be fine in mid. It really shouldn't be that big of a concern. And even when he does, as long as Nijaki keeps wards up, Kog has long enough range that it's not that much of a concern. He will be able to farm from range and just be on his merry way. And Cop and Element's doing a nice job here. That's always a boon when you can go in that bottom lane, steal those mini golems, and just try and catch up.
Yep. By the way, too, that's a smart cast range there. So if you put your wards, you put your items on smart cast, your wards can actually go a little bit further than usual, and that's one of the uses of that. So, man, tip of the day: smart cast your items too. Bot lane, Elements and Cop, they're still they're a little bit apprehensive to try and extend past the river. 27-45 is the creep score down bot lane. That's looking. It's not the best of starts. Let's be frank about this.
Yeah, I mean, their main goal right now is just to get through the laning phase, and if they give up probably one more kill to Ezreal, then the lane would almost be over. And we've seen that before with Dignitas. Aphromoo can just be so aggressive in pressuring a lane. They will be fine now. They will catch up a little bit on that experience with that huge wave down there. So the big thing is just getting levels. And then once they get some levels, level 5 on Graves, and then level 6, they have enough burst damage where maybe if they get the Taric stun on Ezreal, they can start being the aggressors. And the big thing is early levels, Ezreal is king. But once Graves gets a couple of levels and then combo that with Taric, they know that they'll start to have enough damage to take him down.
Yeah, and Cop, is among many AD carries out there in Pro LoL, if Cop manages to get sufficient farm to be a contributor in future fights, he can be a very dangerous man to mess with, and that is definitely always a concern when playing up against a team like Curse. So hopefully they can go ahead and survive this. But all this pressure from Evo, they're just pushing him straight out in the tower. So hopefully hopefully Curse can go ahead and get the farm they need. But for now, though, Blue being passed over to Salsate in the mid, but St. Vicious also passed it to Nijaki earlier, so a little bit of an extra advantage for both AP mids. They're going to have that mana regen, have the cooldown reduction, and stay there just for a little while longer. Oh, man, Wings of Death.
Yeah.
Look at that skill, looking to max out the Reckless Thing first. I mean, buying a point in W, not even really necessary on Olaf in a situation like this. Just max out that E to be sure to take out that shield.
It gives him just enough regen, though, and Malphite does have some nice harass damage, so it allows Olaf to just take control of that lane from the regen sustain, which is a really nice job. Karth is trying to get some damage here, and Leona actually coming mid. One of the nice things with that Leona and Ezreal, they want to pick up some kills. One of the nice things with the Olaf versus Malphite is not only does he have the lane control, but then also, I was kind of talking about earlier, Malphite a lot of times will try and roam mid, and against a champion like Karthus, he could maybe pick up some kills. But Olaf is very strong at pushing the lane, and not a lot of top laners are. So his ability to just instantly clear those creep waves, it constantly forces Malphite into the tower, which denies him those opportunities. So he's going to be forced underneath his tower, and that's just just an awesome thing for them. So we'll see.
Yep.
Nocturne is 6 now, so it is kind of getting to that point in time where we can expect to see some aggression. Top lane might be kind of a tough kill for them, even with that Malphite ultimate, but bot lane in particular could be vulnerable, and he is making his way down there.
Yep, and the farm is the top lane is reflected in the Westrise. So you're getting really chunked out. Axe, another undertoken, Wings doesn't get. He's got the ghost popping the ult, wants to get in there. The ignite is already go down. Can he close the gap? Throws down another axe. I don't think he's going to go ahead and get that one, unfortunately. But hey, still force Malphite out of lane, still worth something.
Yeah, and Olaf can extend his farm advantage. He's actually recalling, and so it's kind of interesting. He could have sat there in lane, farmed a little bit more, extended his advantage, but he already knows he's so far ahead of Malphite right now and able to abuse him. So instead of sitting in lane, allowing Malphite to get items where Malphite would be stronger than Olaf for a second, he goes back in order to keep his item superiority. He goes back to base, allows Nautilus to push the wave into the tower to deny that experience in gold, and then he can continue to zone Malphite. So really nice play from Wings of Death there.
So you see both of the top laners are actually looking to stack GP10 items. And since Wings has actually got his second one first, he's going to have a little bit more income as the game decides to roll on. Plus also cooldown boots. That's just mean. That's just mean. So much true damage. That sucks, man. That's going to suck for Wesrace in a little bit.
It's a pretty common build for Olaf to go the cooldown boots, and the thing is, he doesn't need Ninja Tabby. He's not going against the Bruiser. We'll see, though. There's the Nocturne ultimate. Malphite is here as well, but Malphite's ultimate is down, and unfortunately, Unstoppable is here as well. So Wings of Death getting pretty low. Saint Vicious with the flash after Wings, but he gets it, and there is actually the hook, the snare, and actually the Karthus ultimate as well, and Westerice is not looking very good. As long as he stays out of range of that Q, he can come back in.
What?
Wings with the fantastic play.
Just, he waited. He knew that was like the maximum.
Oh, and Karthus actually going after Nijaki in the mid lane, almost picks up that kill, diving him underneath the turret.
Wow, you saw right there, just Wings like staying on the cusp of that tower.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to retreat too far. I don't want to be taking tower hits. I don't want to be getting hit by creeps. I will die, but want to stay away from Westerice long enough so that if and when he does go in, it's enough damage to kill outright. And great, fantastic job by Unstoppable to just kill time for that to be available.
Yeah, the QE combo from Westerice would have killed him. So
yeah,
he knew he needed to keep his range.
And there you go. With that, with those kills, Unstoppable buying the Oracle's second GP10 item. There's a good amount of income. Not to mention that Wings also going to go ahead and get that Kindle gem as well. Cooldown, where are you? 25% cooldown already. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good for top lane. Looking pretty good for bot lane for Evo as well. So Curse, they're a little bit behind, about 2.5K behind. Should the farming just sit back and continue for the time being then?
I'm sorry, I was just amazed. I was watching the blue stream of light going across. For which team?
So should Curse just still like try and sit back and farm here?
Yeah, I mean, that's farming is always a good decision. And the thing is, Kog'Maw is a late game champion. You're not expecting to run around getting kills early on. You're really just looking to farm. Malphite early on, he doesn't really have a lot of options right now, so he's fine with pushing it to late. And then Graves and Taric, they know that they're behind. So if any lane is trying to get kills, it'll be Nocturne ganking bottom lane. The issue is Ezreal could probably, if Nocturne comes in, you just arcane shift back as Ezreal, and then maybe turn it around on them and pick up some kills. So it's kind of a dangerous gank against Ezreal. It's never a sure thing. So for the most part, Curse is definitely fine with sitting back. And actually, as a result, TSM Evo going to be going after this dragon, and there's the attack speed buff from Aphromoo. Very quickly, they're going to be able to take it down. Karthus, one of the best in the game. Same thing with Ezreal. Karthus and Ezreal are so strong at taking dragon. Yeah,
you saw Elements actually try and put a pink ward down into the tri-brush there in bot lane, and just Unstoppable just kind of wanders around by and just takes it out immediately. This is kind of like, like buying a new cell phone, like dropping it like immediately as you get out the door to the store. It's just like, oh my god, it's shattered already. What do I do? At which point you're just like, it's a little bit of a demoralizing thing too when you have a team that has an Oracles and already has massive map presence already, where you can go ahead and afford and do things such as that, just to be very aggressive, all up in your jungle, taking out your wards.
And Unstoppable with the Oracles doing a really nice job there. And it's really common to get an early Oracles on Nautilus. You expect to be running around getting ganks. Wings of Death might actually dive this because Westerice is pretty low. He might be forced to ult actually. And there's the ghost. He will force the ult. And Nocturne actually coming in as well. Westerice gets out of there, but the Karthus ultimate, he is going to go in with that Ignite as well. And can Wings turn onto St. Vicious? He has enough damage.
Away. There's no more spell shield, and there you go. There's the reckless swing for the second. There's the double kill on Wings with a little bit of help on Karthus as well. Fantastic, fantastic play going down top lane, and that's
in the meantime, Nautilus is setting up down bottom, and they could dive this as well because Leona has enough disables with Nautilus. There's actually the knockup on the Cop and followed up with the Leona ultimate, but Aphromoo changes targets. He decided that he has something a little bit tastier in mind, and Elements will go down.
Yep, Elements does get caught out there trying to retreat the long way around, and that was the good, also remember, Nautilus ult targeted Cop. Elements was in the way, so he's also a victim of that pop-up, of that CC, and it was just really everything necessary to go ahead and get that kill. Look at that. Look at that spinning.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So there you go. So now, about 15 minutes in, and TSM Evo is in a very commanding lead at this point. 7 kills to nothing. May very, if this trend continues, we actually get a flawless victory here. Game number 1, and the gold lead is just pretty significant at this point. Bot lane doing amazing. Aphromoo 2-0, 122 creeps, only to Cop's 92. Top lane, Wings of Death, oh my god, doing so well. 401, 120 creeps in comparison to Westerice's 64. Buying the chain best to go ahead and try and negate some of that damage, but hey, Olaf is doing mostly true damage in instances like this. You can only do so much.
Yeah, that's the issue with the armor on Malphite. We'll see. I mean, Curse, they've looked really strong recently. They're trying to grow as a team, and I don't know, their win over TSM in the TSM Invitational, I was excited to see how Curse is kind of going to grow here, but TSM Evo just oppressively strong, and actually Nat Nguyen zoning Cop once again just because of the early advantages. They can sit there and be aggressive, either dive in or not necessarily go for kills, just sit there and prevent him from farming. So we'll see, how Curse can come back from this, but TSM Evo looks fantastic right now.
Yeah, give you a hi, how you doing? By the way, stay away from my guy in very shiny armor here. He'll screw you up big time. There you go, Malphite ult top lane, trying to make something happen on Wings, but there's no follow-up. There's nothing.
It's really just harass. And a lot of times you can use your ult for harass. We'll see actually Nocturne coming down bottom, and Aphromoo caught out of position. Teleport. There's the fear, and the teleport from Karthus as well coming down onto them, or Cog. We'll see if they can pick up these kills. Cop does go down, but now Nat Nguyen is definitely in trouble. Actually, the Leona ult, can he pick up Elements underneath this turret? Saint actually taking it, so they will be okay. Oh,
well, look, Salsa's here. Wall of Pain actually getting pretty much nearly everybody. Exhaust going down onto Nightjacket. Will Salsa actually be able to do something about this? Fear, can be a difference? No. 1, 2, AoE 3, triple kill for Salsa and Kog'Maw passive.
And in the meantime, they're actually pushing down the second turret, and Westerice getting a little bit too close. So Wings of Death coming in here, just pressuring it. There's the hook. They get the ace. 17 minutes in. It's 12-2. There goes the flawless victory, but even so, they have the pressure up top lane, and doing a pretty nice job in the bot lane as well. But I don't know. It's just tough. And going back to that Malphite ultimate on Wings, it's okay a lot of times to use ultimates in lane just for harass. You don't have to expect to get kills. But the issue is, without that ultimate, he's a sitting duck. And we've seen Olaf has just been pressuring him so hard. He needs the ultimate to escape. And without that ultimate, he's just going to start feeding up kills. But 2 towers down in the top lane. The blue going down as well for Wings, so he's going to have the spam ability. With that cooldown reduction, from the boots, from the blue as well, he's just going to be a menace.
So it's looking grim. Game 1 is looking pretty grim for Curse, and there was a potential there for them to just kind of sit back, farm up, and just try and take the game to mid or to late game. But I think now we're getting to the point where we're searching for miracles or even trying to catch someone out of position at this point. I mean, Baron was also fixed with this recent little mini patch here, so this is also always a possibility to try and rush it, steal it, try and do whatever you can. But I don't know, it's going to be rough because you have Karthus, you have a fed Olaf, you have a fed Ezreal. That's going to be a very fast objective-taking team, Dragon, Baron, whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. That is a serious issue for them. But the late game is pretty strong. We'll see if they're kind of grouping up here. The Dragons should be up shortly, so they can take that. They already have the bot turret Once Curse can get into the late game, having that Kog'Maw is just going to be a godsend, but it is going to be an issue early, and actually there is going to be a bit of a fight here as Unstoppable comes in, gets the snare, gets the slow, the knock-up from Westrice, and then the flash out of there. Actually, he just wants to get the heck out of dodge, so they will be able to get out of there.
And with that, with just deflecting Team Curse, there is the Dragon. It has respawned. TSM EVO going to go ahead and grab that for themselves, extend the gold lead yet even further. Top lane, Wings of Death is also still looking to continually push this lane. But there you go, Dragon down. More gold, more money, more XP, more everything for EVO. And just I even forgot that the tier 2 in top is actually gone. So now Wings is a little bit too deep, but he's got such a level lead, such a goal lead, and the ult to go ahead and get away pretty free and easy. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's what he do when he gets the Olaf.
I mean, he's so tanky at this point with that frozen mallet, and then also having, I mean, he's just so far ahead. So 5-0-1 at this point, and then having the ultimate and Ghost, he can easily escape from anything.
Oop.
And actually, they might be able to pick someone up here. Sitting in the shadows, trying to grab
Wings.
someone,
Okay.
Element should be able to get out of there.
There you go. And if you stay up against
wow.
those tight walls, sometimes you actually go ahead and escape being unseen. But Element's in there, and there's the Leona over through the wall. The Karthus ult isn't even really a necessity. They just wanted to do it. And there you go, with one member, with the support done, with Elements out of the game for the time being. That can be Baron here. Aftermoon and Salsig actually going to go ahead and try their luck just them on their own.
I'm surprised that he got out so quickly, but actually Nat Nguyen coming into the middle of the team, he will go down
Wings
pretty
of
quickly.
Death coming
but
in.
Wings of Death can follow it up onto Nijaki, and that opens up an opportunity for him. Nijaki does go down. So Westrice actually going to go down as well. Wings maybe going down actually first, so Westrice lives. Unfortunately, Graves has to flash over the wall. Nocturne does go down, so Westrice and Cop, they're both alive, but what kind of a life
Barely.
is it?
Yeah. What can you do with only so much health escaping that fight? Easy, you leave. Oh man, this because he keeps on getting more progressively stronger and more fly. And just how can you not zoom in on that dude?
It's pretty fly for what guy?
So shine. He is. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 21 minutes in, and still TSM EVO with a very commanding lead, 4-15. It's a 9K gold difference. There's not really a whole lot that Curse can do to try and put themselves back in it. Nothing short of a Baron, a quick Baron take or steal.
Yep.
But mentioned before, EVO, they have a very good objective taking team. All the damage coming in from Karthus, from Olaf, from Ezreal can make it very rough for Curse to try and get in on that action. But it's worth a shot at this point. At the very least, you got St. Vicious. Actually, ult is actually down. Smite is down as well. So if Baron actually is taken very soon, there may not be a whole lot to be done. But Oracle's on Unstoppable. Actually, did you see? Saw everyone actually get in position on that side wall, which is, like I mentioned before, very sneaky. Just hug the wall. And if a team comes around any corner, they actually don't get vision of you until they actually go full and round the corner. But look, EVO's getting in position. They might actually go ahead and dive this once the next creep wave comes around. Actually, no, Unstoppable coming around. But Salse, yeah, not too far away. And just, with every single creep wave, there's going to go ahead and continue the pressure in any objective in their way. And all 5 members of Curse are here, and there's not a whole lot to be done.
Yeah, and the big issue, I mean, Cog can, clear the waves pretty easily, so they can stall pretty easily. Ezreal, he has such short range, it's pretty tough to push against a team, particularly like Cog. But if you look at Curse's team items, they're not that far behind in gold where they should be normally in this point in the game. The issue is that EVO is just so far ahead. And so you look at Cog, and Cog's 220 CS, he has a Rod of Ages, he has a tier as well, he has 3 gold per 10, so he's actually doing really nicely for himself. But then Karthus on the other side has the Rabadons and Rod of Ages, and that's the same thing for every person on the team. So EVO just going to pressure this Baron very easily, picking that up.
It's no big deal.
It's just they have so much damage at this point in the game.
So yeah, so now they're gonna find out in a second. Now Curse knows. Now they know the Baron has been taken. So now name of the game. Well, actually, very much like the game, like name of the game has been for the past 5-10 minutes or so. It's just even 15 minutes. Just sit back and defend. Try and live. Try and farm.
Yeah,
but
the name of the game for Curse is try not to lose in the next 3 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. Still, Baron buff is going to be there for quite a while.
Right.
And so just, there's only so much that can be done. Even if Inhibitor goes down, should actually respawn before the next Baron. But that all depends on how long Evo decides to take and grab that objective. But yep, so every single anywhere they want to apply pressure, all the lanes are actually pushing. They get some pretty solid waves going. So the aggression is theirs. They're the ones in control. They're in the driving seat here. But no, St. Vicious and Westray is actually getting a little bit too far out. There may be something happening here soon. Unstoppable's not too far behind. His ult's up. Ults are pretty much up for everybody. Elements, no, the ward. I thought something was going to happen there.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have to watch out, but Leona is back at base. A couple of them are going to back, and so Evo, they probably have a lot of gold, actually, so they can go back, buy their items, get ready, and just push down the mid. It will be a concern, the fact that they have kind of a range disadvantage, but they could just decide to dive it, and Nautilus is strong enough right now, all of them are strong enough right now, where they could probably just tank the turrets, pick up some quick kills, and then see where they go from there. But we'll have to see whether they're that kind of aggressive or if they just decide to try and push all the lanes up and just continue that farm advantage, which would be fine right now.
Despite all of this, though, look at Knight Jackie, really quick, though. He's just, the total gold, 10K, is actually on par with both Salsei and Wings of Death, but then again, he's only one insect. He can only do so much on his own. He needs the rest of the team to back him up, and they're just falling down way too quickly for him to actually go ahead and deal the damage he needs to do.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, AP Cog late game is just phenomenal and can win almost any matchup, and he can clear the waves pretty easily, but
there's the
it's not
Karthus
quite
ult
enough
to start the fight, and the Nautilus ult zooming straight in on Knight Jackie. He should actually be going down pretty quick, and there's that. Actually go ahead, tank the turrets for everyone. St. Vicious down with the ult, trying to reduce vision, but it may not actually be enough. There's Wings of Death almost getting to the fountain. Can he actually take out St. Vicious as well? No, but yeah, pretty much everyone from Curse just immediately melting in that fight, and this is really should be it. Mid tier 3's gone, and Hid should be gone. There you go. There's a surrender vote, and game 1 gonna be going to TSM Evo. If they win the next game, they're going to IPL 5.
And that's how you take down an AP Cog or any sort of poke team. You just want to rush in and hard initiate, and that's what they did. TSM Evo, the entire game, were in the driver's seat. They absolutely dominated Curse. We'll see how Curse can kind of change things up coming into game number 2. It's weird to me to think of an Ezreal ban, because I've never seen an Ezreal ban in a long period of time, but Aphromoo put on so much pressure in the bottom lane. It was just absolutely devastating. Even if he wasn't the most fed in the game, Olaf was 8-1-5, just crushing that top lane. But Ezreal, there was always that threat against Graves, and so Kot was never really secure in his role in that game. He was kind of always uneasy. Any kind of misstep could result in an instant death and an instant loss in that game. So we'll have to see. A number of the champions that they had were incredibly strong. Now,
it was mentioned in Champ Select that you'd like to see them actually go for the Janna. Do you still feel that way?
I mean, Janna is a really strong, safe pick. If they went to Janna, then Graves would be a little bit safer in farming. You wouldn't have to worry about the Leona quite as much because Janna would have the nice disengage. The thing is, Taric gives them some kill potential, and they wanted bot lane to be their kill lane. They wanted Nocturne to be able to stick his hat in one lane and say, okay, I'm going to go there, I'm going to get kills. It just didn't really work that way because the other lanes had so much pressure, and top lane in particular, the first blood for Wings of Death was crushing for Westrice, and there was nothing he could do in that lane. Wings of Death just ran all over him, basically.
Well, and not to mention that Olaf in itself, even without the first blood, it's a pretty big counter to Malphite.
Yep.
So that can be the power of the last pick.
I thought you were going to say love for a second.
Well, that too. I mean, he's a man of love, and he does. And then, well, it's kind of a strange, well, with axes and yelling and Graggy Ice. Actually, I don't want that kind of love. Never mind. Don't forget I said anything.
It's the most. I don't know.
I
don't know where I was going to go.
It's
I was thinking Back to the Future, actually. If you want to know where I was going with the love thing, it was that's the power of love. It was a random comment, but then all of a sudden we start getting into man love with Olaf getting drunk and going back with his bro buddies, and the conversation went very weird very quickly.
I wasn't going that weird with it. Well, maybe a little. You know what? Let's just go ahead and forget about it.
Guys,
we'll put some commercials up there.
We'll put some more commercials. We'll be back. Game number 2, IPL 5 NA qualifiers number 2, Curse versus TSM Evo. Stay tuned, guys.